All right, so open up document A, which is going to be a speech that Hitler gave. So, to justify the annexation of Austria, Hitler called for a public vote on whether the unification should stand. This is an excerpt from a speech he gave on April 9th, 1938, the day before the vote. As Hitler points out in his speech, he himself was born and grew up in Austria. So the important thing to look at in this part is that he wanted to justify it. He wanted to say, I've made this decision, but here are the reasons why I've already done it. Okay. He also wanted a public vote so that he could say people agreed with him. And he gave this speech the day before the vote as a last plug to make sure that people were in agreement with him. So remember, this is long before social media, television, cell phones. So he was to give this address over the radio. So the next part that you see are the words that he spoke. So he says, one day we shall be no more. Then the coming generations shall be able to look back with pride on this day, the day which a great vote affirmed the German community. In the past, millions of German men shed blood for this right. How merciful a fate to be allowed to create this right today without a suffering. Now rise, German folk, subscribe to it, hold it tightly in your hands. I wish to thank him who allowed me to return to my homeland so that I could return it to my German Reich. May every German realize realize the importance of this hour tomorrow, assess it, and then bow his head in reverence before the will of the Almighty, who has wrought this miracle in all of us within these past few weeks. So the word vote just means folk. So he's talking to the regular everyday Germans. And Reich means kingdom. So he refers to Germany as a kingdom. Okay, so if we look at the first sentence, it says, when one day we shall be no more. So he's saying when we're dead and gone, the coming generations will look back with pride on this day. So he's saying you should do this for your children, your grandchildren, future generations. In the second sentence, he talks about millions of German men who had shed their blood. He's referring to World War II. Or excuse me, no, he's not. World War I. So that all those men would not have died in vain. In the second paragraph, he's thanking God to allow him to return to his homeland. If you notice, the word him has a capital letter. So that's who he is saying has allowed this to happen. So now he's playing on, future generations, soldiers that were passed away, and then now into religion. So he's saying this is an important day that everybody should look at the will of the Almighty. So he's looking again at religion and that it is a miracle that this has been able to happen. Okay, so he's using a lot of emotions there in this speech. So if you look at your Google Doc, you've got to answer the questions. Okay, so when was this speech delivered? That one's an easy one. Okay. What is the purpose of this speech? So what does he want the German people to do when they go vote? Okay. Number 3, what does he mean by that quote? So look at your question, think about what I just said, and what does he mean? So number 4, what are 2 reasons he gave in the first paragraph for people to vote in this way? Okay. And then the last one, what specific phrases are designed to convince the voter? So give me examples from the text of specific things he did and he said to convince people to vote yes. Okay? What in the speech does he say to make people vote yes? Okay? Once you've answered those questions, we'll go to the next source.